The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any.
Sheryl Swoopes is unraveling in real time. Just months ago, she stood tall, puffed up with conviction, and confidently claimed that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever wouldn't be able to attract top-tier free agents. She made it sound like Indiana was a no-go zone for elite talent. But fast forward to today, and reality has delivered a crushing rebuttal. The Fever didn't just pull off a solid free agency, they executed one of the most dominant recruitment runs in WNBA history. Meanwhile, Sheryl looks like a malfunctioning Magic 8 ball, her predictions not just wrong, but laughably off base. With each Fever win and every new star signee, her credibility erodes. Someone might want to check on her, because the Caitlin Clark effect is rewriting narratives and leaving her stuck in the past.
In the Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going
it's
on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like,
Let's get one thing clear, Sheryl Swoopes is a Hall of Famer, a trailblazer, a certified legend in women's basketball. But lately, she's been more committed to tearing down Caitlin Clark than contributing anything constructive. It's as if she's clocked in as a full-time anti-Clark commentator, pushing out stale takes and doubling down on doubts that never hold up. Her loudest claim? That the Fever's locker room would scare off big-name free agents. That they'd struggle to build around Clark. Well, here we are. The ink is dry. The contracts are signed. Indiana has built a juggernaut, and Sheryl's sideline skepticism just aged like unrefrigerated yogurt. Her narrative has collapsed under the weight of undeniable facts.
Stephanie White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans. She did all that. Sheryl's been nowhere to been found. Sheryl got a lot of crow to eat, folks. Sheryl could be choking on crow right now. She need that Heimlich maneuver. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, tell her it's okay to come out and talk and say, man, you was wrong.
You can almost picture Sheryl Swoopes doom-scrolling through her phone in disbelief. No way this many players actually chose Indiana, she probably muttered, stunned that the Fever had somehow turned into the league's most attractive destination. But yes, it happened. Natasha Howard, Dawana Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, even Sydney Colson, Asia Wilson's best friend, signed up. This wasn't just a strong free agency. This was a takeover. Indiana didn't just get talent, they redefined the power structure. And when Colson was asked why she joined the Fever, her answer added a delicious dose of irony.
Sydney Colson today. She said that Kelsey Mitchell was actually the first person she hit up because they built a bond here, playing AU for the last 3 years. She said she heard some good things about Caitlin Clark from her Aces teammate Kate Martin as well, so that made the decision easy.
Colson cited the chance to play alongside Kelsey Mitchell, yes, the very same Mitchell that Sheryl once dismissed as expendable. And naturally, she wanted to team up with Caitlin Clark. Let's pause there. This is the same Caitlin Clark that Swoopes confidently claimed would need years to adjust to the WNBA. Years? Clark is already putting up 40-point performances like she's been here a decade. Every Swoopes prediction about her has aged worse than milk left in the sun. While Clark continues to rise, Sheryl's takes are crashing faster than a 2003 internet connection.
NBA MVPs in your career, would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
At this point, hating on Caitlin Clark feels like a competitive sport, and Sheryl Swoopes is gunning for gold, silver, and bronze. She's dominating the anti-Clark Olympics, standing atop the podium with a clenched jaw while the Indiana Fever keep stacking wins and elite players. Clark won't transition to the WNBA, they said. She's overrated, they claimed. Tell that to the team assembling like the Avengers around her. Tell that to the stats. Tell that to the thousands of fans packing arenas to watch her play. Clark's not just thriving, she's transforming the entire league. And every Fever victory is a receipt served to her doubters.
No, but players who will be free agents next year, there's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Let's be real, part of the backlash Clark faces from certain WNBA vets and legends is rooted in discomfort. She didn't follow the script. She didn't wait her turn, didn't ask for permission, didn't quietly assimilate. She walked into the league, shattered over 60 records, embraced her role as a lightning rod, and turned the spotlight squarely onto women's basketball. And that burns. The overnight impact, the media attention, the global recognition, it's something most veterans never received, and now some can't help but bristle at the new reality Clark represents.
Peeps, Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
Clark didn't need a gatekeeper's blessing to become the face of the WNBA. She brought the spotlight with her. Statistically, commercially, and culturally, she's bigger than half the league combined. And it's not her fault. This is what happens when a generational talent meets perfect timing. Sheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, Aya Wilson. The entire anti-Clark brigade can keep voicing their frustration. But while they're busy nitpicking, Clark is busy selling out arenas, breaking viewership records, and turning the Indiana Fever into the WNBA's most compelling storyline. That's not hype, it's impact. And it's forcing everyone, whether they like it or not, to face a new era.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
So, Sheryl, what happened to that bold claim that no one wants to go to Indiana? Who exactly were you talking to? The ghosts of Fever seasons past? Because real, living, elite players are signing with the Fever like it's an all-access VIP lounge. Did you really think Caitlin Clark would have to beg for help? Be serious. Players are lining up to join her, not because she's begging, but because they see something worth building. A culture. A legacy. A movement. And Sheryl's old-school pessimism is being drowned out by new-school momentum.
Further, when a game that Sheryl Swoopes was calling for the Dallas Wings, where the commentator was talking about how great Caitlin Clark had been playing, Sheryl Swoopes, silent for 60 seconds, didn't even want to address it. And it got so bad that the game that Dallas then went to play against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, after the domination of the Chicago Sky, Sheryl Swoopes got pulled from the broad.
Somebody better check Sheryl's calendar because she's acting like it's still 2002. Back when Indiana was scraping together rosters from YMCA tryouts and Tamika Catchings was dragging a squad of semi-pros into playoff contention. But that's not today. The Fever aren't struggling to lure talent anymore, they're turning away offers. They're loaded. They're dangerous. They've got Natasha Howard, a two-way beast who can dominate both ends of the court. When she signed with Indiana, she didn't sound reluctant, she sounded excited. Players aren't joining the Fever out of desperation. They're joining because they see the future, and it's wearing red, navy, and gold.
It's going to be Caitlin Clark flash show. So it's going to be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court. Because that's like, as soon as she gets the ball in her hand, she's throwing it up because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists.
DeWanna Bonner didn't waste time making her intentions known. A versatile scorer, battle-tested veteran, and matchup nightmare, Bonner came to Indiana with fire in her eyes. She didn't just sign quietly, she came swinging. She hit Twitter with clapbacks for every Fever doubter, setting the tone before even lacing up her sneakers. That's not just confidence. That's belief. The kind that says, this team isn't just good, it's ready to take over. And she didn't come to Indiana by accident. She came because the Fever aren't a joke anymore. They're a threat.
I think she's a great player. I'm happy to be on the side of her now instead of guarding her. Of course, she's a dynamic player, and you see that and what she's done in her rookie year. And I'm actually excited to see what she's going to do her second year in the league with a little bit, more experience and understanding a little bit more.
And then there's Sophie Cunningham, the spark plug, the agitator, the competitor with enough swagger to energize an entire bench. She brings grit, fire, and an endless stream of trash talk, and when asked who she wanted to play with, she didn't hesitate: Caitlin Clark. That's the pattern, the common thread. They're not joining Indiana to mentor a rookie. They're joining because Clark is the real deal. She's not dragging Indiana towards success, they're sprinting to meet her at the top. The same team that was overlooked just a season ago is now where stars want to land. That isn't luck. That's leadership. That's influence. That's Clark.
To be honest, I am just so excited to be here. I'm from the Midwest, and so for me to kind of get back to my roots and be close to my family, I'm so excited. Like when I say that I am refreshed and I am motivated, and I just kind of feel like my spark is back. Everyone thinks I've been feisty. You've not even seen the feisty side of me yet, so this should be really fun. But for me, I'm excited to be closer to home. I'm excited to deep dive into the community of Indiana. I've already met a lot of really cool people. I'm excited to inspire the next generation of young boys and girls around here, get to know the community more. But I promise you that I'm just ready to win. I'm ready to win. I'm ready for y'all to be there. But like I said, you guys haven't even seen.
And then there's Sydney Colson. No, she's not dropping 25 points a night, but don't get it twisted, her impact is undeniable. She's about to inject that Fever locker room with unmatched energy, elite chemistry, and a vibe shift that makes Indiana feel like a team on a mission. This isn't some depth signing move. This is culture setting. Do you see the pattern yet? These aren't fringe players getting shuffled for cap space. These are seasoned veterans, game changers, respected stars actively choosing to join Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull, the Fever's rising core. Meanwhile, Sheryl Swoopes is stuck scrambling to defend another ice-cold take, fumbling to explain how the team she said couldn't attract talent just pulled off a free agency masterclass. Maybe Sheryl wasn't talking about Indiana, maybe she meant the Aces, who are literally begging fans with half-off ticket deals. Or Chicago, who just lost their top scorer with no contingency plan. Or the Connecticut Sun, currently collapsing under the weight of their own dysfunction. The Fever? They're not just participating anymore. They're flipping the table.
Very excited, and I really agree with a lot of the moves the Indiana Fever have made. There's not been one trade or pickup that the Indiana Fever have made that I have not been on board with. I'm on board with every single one. And I just want to say the fact that the Indiana Fever have gone out and got these great players like a Natasha Howard, like a DeWanna Bonner, like a Sophie Cunningham, the fact that they've gone out and got these great players shows that they believe Caitlin Clark is great right now. They are on board with the Caitlin Clark vision, and it just makes me happy because they're not treating Caitlin Clark like a rookie who is gonna be good in 10 years. No, they're treating her like a superstar who is good.
Sheryl Swoopes really thought she was delivering some profound, league-altering insight when she made her infamous comments about the Fever in free agency. She jumped on that podcast acting like she was holding state secrets. But in reality, all she did was torch what little credibility she had left. Let's be honest, at this point, Swoopes is just out here launching flaming hot bad takes like it's her second career. If there were a Hall of Fame for spectacularly wrong predictions, she'd be inducted unanimously. First ballot. No debate.
By the way, every single narrative about the Fever is like whatever about them signing Sophie Cunningham, who they don't like. They love DeWanna Bonner. Like these people, they signed DeWanna Bonner, and again, they were saying we have actual people working for networks being like DeWanna Bonner will never sign for the Fever for obvious reasons. And I'm like, what are the obvious reasons? Genuinely, what are the obvious reasons? They are
So what's next? Is Sheryl going to declare that Caitlin Clark isn't actually a generational talent? That Angel Reese is the best player in the league? Because honestly, if Sheryl told us water was wet, we'd probably still have to fact-check her. With all these signings pouring in, the Indiana Fever aren't just building a contender, they're becoming the blueprint for how to build a modern WNBA powerhouse. And the funniest part? The same players Sheryl confidently claimed wouldn't even look at Indiana are now texting their agents saying, "Get me to the Fever ASAP."
I'm really trying here not to crash out, okay? I can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb is Sunday. I said, this isn't it. You know, I can't wait to see what the next bomb would be. Didn't know this would be the bomb. Stephanie White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again. Stephanie White is not playing fair. She on one.
And now we need to talk about Aya Wilson, because this is where the tea really starts spilling. Aya, once considered the face of the league, just watched her best friend Sydney Colson leave the Las Vegas Aces to join forces with none other than Caitlin Clark. Imagine waking up, scrolling Twitter, and finding out your ride or die just dipped to team up with the very player you've been publicly downplaying. That's not just a roster move, that's pure drama. This isn't IAS League anymore. Caitlin Clark is the main character now.
It's like in tears, y'all.
Let's be real, Sheryl Swoopes hyping up Aya Wilson like she's the WNBA second coming of MJ is starting to sound desperate. Meanwhile, the Aces are collapsing faster than Angel Reese's mid-range jumper. Sydney Colson? Gone. Key rotational players? Vanishing. The so-called Aces dynasty is cracking under pressure. Aya is left subtweeting her emotions, pretending everything's fine while watching Indiana turn into the league's Thanos, stacking elite talent like Infinity Stones. Caitlin Clark isn't just a franchise player. She's a gravitational force. She's changing the culture, attracting the league's best talent, and pulling Indiana into title contention faster than anyone expected. And Sheryl? Still clinging to outdated narratives, trying to convince herself that Clark isn't a game changer. Reality says otherwise.
Indiana Fever are officially title contenders. Every day they have something new for us in free agency. And today it's Miss DeWanna Bonner. 6-time WNBA All-Star and WNBA champ, a veteran in this game, can pretty much do it all, also an enforcer, nasty defense. Should I continue? We have a new starting five. Caitlin at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, DeWanna at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
You already know the backpedaling is coming. Sheryl's going to hit us with the back in my day monologue, pretending like Caitlin Clark couldn't hang in the rough and tumble WNBA of the past. Really, Sheryl? Because nothing says elite basketball like bricking 15-footers in giant baggy shorts and calling it grit. The game has evolved, and Clark isn't just keeping up, she's setting the pace. The standard has changed, and she is the standard.
Make any sense by any stretch of the imagination. In what way would you not want to play in Indiana, the place where you're getting sold out arenas, the most viewership on television, playing with a player who was top 3 in MVP voting as a rookie, who clearly elevates her teammates around her. She scores a lot, but she is also dishing out the ball, able to elevate everyone around her. Why wouldn't you want to?
Let's also not forget Sheryl's favorite excuse is that Caitlin Clark's popularity is all just media hype. Oh really? You mean the same media machine that pushed Sheryl herself back in the day? Funny how media attention was totally fine when she was the one on the magazine covers. But now that it's Clark? Suddenly, it's a problem. That's not analysis. That's insecurity wearing a fake pair of expert glasses. The logic doesn't add up, and the jealousy is loud.
Say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate that.
While other teams are tripping over themselves, the Fever are locked in like a team chasing rings. Indiana is moving like a championship squad in the making. The Aces? That title window is closing faster than they can tweet. Chicago? Still staring at their whiteboard wondering what to do post-Kalia Copper. Connecticut? imploding in broad daylight. But Indiana, they're scary. They're strategic. They're stacked. And they're ready to take what's theirs.
Caitlin Clark is a polarizing figure. People gravitate towards her. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't diminish what Sheryl Swoopes accomplished. Caitlin Clark's arrival doesn't diminish anything that they've done. I don't get this old guard. People wasn't phonetic. It wasn't buzzing. The WNBA, and people didn't talk about it like they do. Instead of being upset about it.
And that's exactly why Sheryl Swoopes is spiraling. Deep down, she sees it. She knows what's happening. Caitlin Clark isn't just the future of the WNBA, she's already the present. The Lobo threes, the needle-threading passes, the way she's got ESPN breaking viewership records before her second season even starts, this is generational greatness. And when she inevitably wins MVP next season? Oh, the meltdown will be epic. Sheryl will be on every mic she can find, ranting about the good OL days. But the truth is, those days are over. The Caitlin Clark era is here. The Fever are coming for that trophy.
That's on the $80 million Fever facility, and Stephanie White being like, we're going to be aggressive in free agency, and massive names who are available. And I think, this is my bold prediction, the Indiana Fever are going to be playing for the WNBA title next year. Wow. They have their cornerstone pieces under rookie contract.
Caitlin Clark didn't show up to make friends. She showed up to dominate. She's gunning for MVP, the title, and total league takeover. Meanwhile, the Fever front office is out here playing 4D chess in free agency. And somewhere in the shadows, Sheryl Swoopes is watching like the final boss in a bad superhero movie, arms crossed, whispering, "This ain't right." But it is. What's not right is the outdated narrative Sheryl keeps recycling every time Clark breaks another record. The league isn't waiting for her to catch up. Clark's already the most recognized name in women's basketball. The Fever are poised to run the WNBA. And if that upsets the old guard, well, get comfortable. Because this is just the beginning. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment. Click the video on screen, we'll see you in the next one.